Hi everyone, my name is Elena Vallejo. I am a poet and writer born and raised in the Quad Cities. I'm currently a student at St. Ambrose University, and today I am very excited to share with you one of my favorite types of poetry, blackout poetry. So, what is blackout poetry? Blackout poetry, also known as erasure poetry, is when you take a pre-written text like magazines, newspapers, book pages, and you redact or erase or black out the words to make your own poem. And one of the most fun things about blackout poetry is the designs you get to make and the freedom you get and the art side of it outside of the poetry. So you see here, there's an example where it's all black and the words are, shown. And then there's another one where there's a little sunset in it. And then I have a few more examples of just different ways you can do it. There's really no rules to blackout poetry. You can use color, you can make designs, you could just keep it simple and plain. All of it works and all of it is perfectly okay. So what do you need to prepare for blackout poetry? So you need pre-written text like a magazine page, book page, newspaper page, or even a poem. I would recommend a pencil and a notebook. And then of course you need the blackout materials, which could be Sharpies, pens, markers, colored pencils, all of that. So let's get started. So step one is to read your chosen material. Read it and then read it again. Although this might seem like a simple step, this is how you begin your work and how you find the mood of your piece. Read it another time, and this time use your pencil to lightly underline the words that stand out to you. Don't worry about making things make sense. This is just a starting point. The organization starts later. So in mine, some of the words I underlined was himself, set, connection, correspondent. So I just went through and did all the words that kind of stood out to me that I thought, those are interesting words. So the next step is to take notes and make a plan. So look at your chosen words. Do any of them make sense together? Remember, the words don't need to be in typical reading order. You can use your blackout work to guide the reader later. In this step, it may be useful to use a notebook to plan out your piece. You may need to search for some filler words to help you help the flow of your poem. So words like the, and, for, it. So I kind of mapped out my plan for part of my poem, and I underlined the word in because that was one I needed to add in there. And there's some words that I thought I was going to use and then went back on. So then after this, you're ready for the final step, which is to black out your poetry. This is the final step, and this is where you make your poem. There are lots of ways to do this. You can cross out things, you can scribble them out, you can make a picture around your chosen words. This is a part where you really get to be creative and have fun and let your artistry shine. Feel free to title your piece and sign your name at the bottom once you're finished. And so then here's my finished piece. I titled it Perhaps, and I'll read it for you. It says, set in connection, a published correspondent, little scratches of poetry, everything intrinsic, full of significance, on certain passages of life, light on certain passages of life, awaken to impulse, perhaps a thinly disguised story of love. And congrats, you did it. You've now made your very own blackout poem. So share it, post it, make some more, and be proud of the art you have created. Thank you all so much for joining us today, and I cannot wait to see the beautiful poetry you all make.